12 animals that saved people's lives. Number 12. What's wrong with this picture? A pot-bellied pig ran out of a house by squeezing itself through the doggy door. Then it waddled into the middle of the street and laid down, slowing traffic to a crawl. Finally, a man stopped and followed the pig, who led him back to the house. Inside was JoAnn Altsman, who had fallen victim to a heart attack. Immediately rushed to the hospital. Ms. Altsman could thank her daughter's pot-bellied pig, Lulu, for taking some determined action to save her life. Number 11. When a 78-year-old Australian farmer broke his hip after being accidentally knocked into a pile of fertilizer, he couldn't move. Stuck there, no one could hear Noel Osborne's cry for help because he was so far away. But Mandy, his goat, stayed with him for 5 days, keeping him warm by huddling next to him during some cold nights, and even allowing him to drink her milk for sustenance until help could arrive. Osborne later declared Mandy's milk to be the elixir of life. Number 10. A whale came to the rescue of a diver in China. The diver, 26-year-old Yang Yun, was in a competition to see who could hold their breath the longest at the bottom of a 20-foot Arctic pool inhabited by beluga whales, without any breathing apparatus. When Yun couldn't move her legs due to cramping caused by the freezing waters, a beluga whale named MEOW sensed something was wrong. The whale took the leg of the drowning diver in her mouth and was able to lift her to the surface, allowing her to breathe and saving her life. Number 9. 93 people were stranded in stormy seas when a ship called Ethy crashed into rocks off the shore of Newfoundland in 1919. When a sailor was lost at sea after trying to throw a rope to people on the shore, the captain gave the rope to Tang, a dog that lived on board. Tang jumped into the water with the rope in his mouth and swam for the beach. Once there, people pulled the dog onto land and securely tied the rope, which was used to bring in the remaining 92 people from the sinking ship. Tang received a medal from Lloyd's of London for his bravery. Number 8. A horse saved a Scottish rancher from being trampled to death by an enraged cow. The 1,300-pound cow became angry when her calf was being led into a shed by rancher Fiona Boyd. Boyd was knocked down when the cow charged her and was convinced the animal was about to crush her. But grazing nearby was Kerry Gold the horse, and immediately came to the rancher's aid. Charging at the cow, Kerry used her back hooves to buck and kick at the bovine beast, then stood protectively as Boyd managed to escape by crawling under a fence. Number 7. Now, this story made international headlines back in 1986. A 5-year-old boy named Levin Merritt fell 20 feet into the gorilla pit at the Jersey Zoo, suffering a fractured skull and a broken arm. Onlookers feared for the worst when a 7-foot, 250-pound silverback gorilla named Yambo approached the boy. But the big animal actually guarded Levin by placing himself in a position to protect the boy from other gorillas in the pit. When Levin awoke and started to cry, the gorilla ensured his troop was out of the way, so human rescuers were able to reach the boy and airlift him to a hospital. After Yambo's death in 1992, the zoo erected a life-size bronze statue in his honor. Number 6. Here's a case of a 4-year-old helping an 8-year-old. The 4-year-old was an elephant named Ning Nong, who saved an 8-year-old child named Amber Mason during a tsunami in Phuket, Thailand in 2005. The elephant took Amber on its back as the wave struck and ran to higher ground. The animal created a protective wall to shield the child by keeping its back to the water as the wave crashed all about them. Amber's mother was convinced the child never could have survived without the elephant absorbing the wave's punishment. Number 5. In 2005, a 12-year-old girl was kidnapped by 4 men in rural Ethiopia while leaving school for home. When her captors tried to move her a week later as police were catching up, 3 lions showed up and chased the kidnappers away. The lions even stayed with the girl until police officers arrived. While the kidnappers had beaten the girl, the lions never so much as touched her. A local wildlife expert speculated the lions might have allowed the girl to live because her cries sounded similar to that of a cub's. Number 4. Ever hear about the parrot who saved a life? In 2009, a Quaker parrot named Willie alerted a babysitter that a child was choking. The 2-year-old girl was choking on a breakfast and started turning blue when Willie began flapping his wings furiously and squawking in an effort to alert his owner, Megan Howard, who was babysitting the child. Megan said she heard Willie saying, "Mama, baby," repeatedly. Rushing from the bathroom, she saw the child choking and performed the Heimlich maneuver, saving her life. But the real hero seemed to be Willie. He received the Animal Lifesaver Award from the Denver chapter of the Red Cross. Number 3. Did you know that the star of Mary Poppins was once rescued by a pod of porpoises? Dick Van Dyke said that while visiting his local beach, he fell asleep on his surfboard and drifted in the water. Waking up, he could see no sight of land. But as he started paddling, he did see fins appear in the water. At first, he thought it must be sharks, but it turned out to be porpoises, and they must have been big fans because they helped push the actor all the way back to shore. Number 2. CHICHI the Chihuahua was on vacation with his owners, Mary and Rick Lane, at Indian Beach in North Carolina. Leashed to his own beach chair, the dog suddenly started barking and making sounds the owners claim they'd never heard before. CHICHI then began dragging his chair toward the water. His owners were confused about the dog's behavior until they saw 2 elderly beachgoers endangered by an oncoming riptide. One of the 2 women had already fallen in the water while the other struggled to hold on to her. The Lanes helped pull the 2 women away from the riptide. After it was determined the 2 senior citizens were fine, the Lanes returned to the spot to find CHICHI already dozing in his chair. For his efforts, CHICHI was voted Hero Pet of the Year by readers of Reader's Digest. Number 1. When a water pump malfunctioned in Kathy Kiesling's house, she, along with her husband and teenage son, were in danger of carbon monoxide poisoning. Luckily, Winnie, their tabby cat, was around to save the night, as it were. Sensing the change in air quality, Winnie managed to wake up Kathy by jumping onto her and scratching at her face and hair. Luckily, it was in time to attend to her husband and to his son, who was lying unconscious on the floor. Although groggy, Kathy managed to keep herself alert long enough to rouse the family and then call 911. They had an overnight stay at the hospital, but without Winnie's timely intervention, there's little chance the family would have survived.